They won't tell you this, but real strength doesn't originate from your body. It's forged deep within the mind, in a place invisible to the world but unmistakably felt by everyone around you. The most formidable people in history weren't the loudest. They didn't beg for eyes on them. They weren't seeking applause. They crafted minds so composed, so detached, and so untouchable that others fell apart just by being in their orbit.
Picture this: a mind untouched by pressure, free from desperation, immune to fear. A mind that doesn't blink under fire, doesn't pursue external validation, and feels no urge for revenge. That kind of mindset doesn't simply survive the world, it reshapes it. This isn't about raw intelligence. It's about sculpting your thinking to become ruthlessly disciplined, unpredictably calm, and emotionally distant, so that no one can control you, intimidate you, or bend you. People will attempt to decipher you, but they'll always fail. And that's your edge. Now, let's build that mental fortress. The typical mind is chained to results, clings to praise, success, image, love. It moves with desire and crumbles at disappointment. This mind is not feared, it's pitted. It's fragile, easily broken, and effortlessly controlled. Now ask yourself, what happens when you stop caring? Not from laziness, but from power. True detachment isn't apathy, it's authority. It means your inner world remains still, no matter the chaos outside. Victories don't make you manic. Losses don't break you. You crave nothing from others, and because of that, nothing they do can touch you. That's the foundation of an untouchable mind. It doesn't mean you feel nothing. It means your feelings don't rule your actions. You've burned your addiction to approval. You've silenced your hunger for attention. You've severed your mind from the outcomes the masses worship. And that alone makes you terrifying. Why? Because most people are slaves to craving love, craving recognition, craving success. They're dragged by every promise and destroyed by every rejection. But the man who's trained his mind to function without craving, he becomes unbaitable. And when you can't be baited, you can't be controlled. This is why rulers and manipulators despise the detached man. They can't buy his loyalty with flattery. They can't scare him with threats. He belongs to no result, and therefore he belongs to no one. Machiavelli would have called this the highest advantage: to seem invested but remain untouched, to engage when needed, but to walk away at any moment without emotional cost. That's the difference between being a player and being the board itself. Your detachment shouldn't be announced. You should radiate. People should feel it in your tone, your pace, your complete lack of urgency. While others rush, you stand still. While others fight for position, you observe. You don't reach, you don't chase. You let things arrive or not at all. That unbothered calm, it rattles them. It exposes how desperate they are. Your stillness reflects their chaos. Your control highlights their emotional instability. And in that exposure, they lose power. Let them panic. Let them scramble for attention, for love, for acceptance. You remain unmoved because you've embraced the one truth that unlocks freedom. You don't need anything from anyone. When you live this, your entire presence shifts. You stop being the one trying to impress. You become the one choosing who stays, who leaves, and on what terms. You become rare. And in a world drowning in emotional hunger, rarity equals power. But don't confuse detachment with avoidance. This isn't about hiding or isolating. It's about engaging with precision, being present but never possessed, loving without need, acting without attachment. You stop reacting based on emotion and start responding based on calculation. You no longer cry for fairness, you hunt for advantage. You stop begging for understanding, you move in silence. This is the line between the ordinary and the untouchable. Most live like emotional junkies, addicted to feedback, starving for reassurance, desperate for stimulation. They chase highs and run from discomfort. But an untouchable mind is carved out of discomfort. It doesn't tremble under pressure. It welcomes solitude. It stays rooted while the world burns. They'll insult you, you'll feel nothing. They'll withdraw, you won't follow. They'll threaten loss, you'll have already let go. And that, to them, is horrifying. Because when they realize nothing has a hold on you, they'll see you for what you really are, something different. You've killed the slave in your mind. Now you walk free. An untouchable mind isn't built by reading theory, it's built by repetition. By refusing to shatter during pain. By letting insults pass through you. By sitting with silence and making it your ally. This is how you rise, by needing less, controlling more, and becoming the unsolvable puzzle everyone fixates on. Once people can define you, they can defeat you. Most men destroy their own power trying to be understood. They overshare, they explain, they want to be seen as honest, open, vulnerable. And in doing so, they hand over every psychological weapon they had. The untouchable mind does the opposite. It moves in shadows, not out of fear, but out of strategy. It knows that mystery is more effective than confession. The second people think they've figured you out, they stop fearing you. Once they predict your next step, they start scripting it. Predictability is weakness. Exposure is surrender. You stay vague. Let them guess your motives. Let them wrestle with your silences. Let them interpret your stillness as patience or as looming danger. Either way, it unsettles them. People are terrified by what they can't define. Machiavelli knew appearance beats truth, but you must take it further. Become the illusion itself. Be everything and nothing. Speak clearly, but only enough to be heard, never enough to be fully known. Act decisively, but never explain your strategy. Keep your inner world invisible. This is the discipline of enigma. Most will fail at it. They crave recognition. They want labels, applause, understanding. They want their thoughts validated, their wounds seen. But you kill that urge. You become immune to misunderstanding. You let people misjudge you, misinterpret you, fabricate stories about you. Let them. The more they guess, the more they obsess. And the more they obsess, the more they reveal themselves. That's the secret power of mystery. It forces others into emotional exposure. While you remain unreadable, they become transparent. You stay invisible. This is how true rulers operate. They don't shout. They don't explain. They speak once and leave others analyzing for years. You must become that. You're not here to be relatable. You're here to build a mind that others fear walking into. A mind no one can fully map or predict or own. They'll accuse you of being cold, distant, inhuman. Let them. That discomfort means your presence is working. People fear what they can't grasp. And what they fear, they respect. A mysterious man doesn't chase. He pulls people in and decides what they get access to. He watches their reactions. He collects data. He keeps his cards hidden until the result is guaranteed. Then he strikes clean, sudden, precise. Your mystery isn't just a tactic, it's your armor. It shields your emotional life, your strategy, your objectives. The less they know, the more they project. The more they project, the more control you gain without lifting a finger. Become the silence that unsettles, the gaze that cuts, the question that lingers longer than any answer could. This is the untouchable mind. It's not loud, not visible, but deeply feared because it's never fully known. Weak people feed off reaction. They thrive on drama, emotion, and validation. They need to feel that they can move you, that they still hold sway over your mood, your attention, your peace. Here's the first rule of psychological warfare. The person who can make you feel owns you. An untouchable mind knows this and starves them. You don't give them your outrage, not your confusion, not even your disappointment. You give them absence. You give them nothing, because the greatest punishment is not revenge. It's emotional starvation. True control isn't loud. It's surgical. It doesn't scream. It becomes a void where people lose themselves trying to find meaning. They expect your reaction, you give none. They expect you to chase, you vanish. They expect you to care, you stay indifferent. And in that void, they crumble. Understand this. When you're emotionally predictable, you're easily manipulated. If they know what words trigger you, what gestures make you jealous, what silences make you desperate, they own you. You become their puppet, and you won't even notice the strings. That's why your emotions must stay locked away. Not because you don't feel, but because no one should ever see it. Not your enemies, not your lovers, not even your friends. Because the more they know what stirs you, the more power they hold. So you do the opposite. You train your mind to become emotionally invisible. You speak less, reveal less, show no reaction. And when they try to guilt you, flatter you, seduce you, pity you, you let it pass through you like air through stone. Do not explain. Do not defend. Do not give them the illusion that they've touched your core. Most people, when emotionally attacked, act like children, begging to be understood, crying for closure, screaming for fairness. You don't, because an untouchable mind doesn't move for fairness. It moves for control. When someone betrays you, you don't seek justice. You remove your energy, quietly, fully, not with threats but with absence. And that silence will scream louder than any words ever could. People aren't used to being denied, especially emotionally. When you offer them nothing, when you don't flinch, don't chase, don't plead, they panic. That helplessness turns to obsession. They'll spiral. They'll try harder. They'll break themselves, trying to break you. This is emotional warfare. To win it, stop being an open book. Close it, lock it, burn the pages. Rebuild your mind as a vault. No access.
No leaks. No negotiation.
Every emotion you give away freely is a weapon, sold at a discount. Keep them guessing. Some days speak with warmth, other days with cold distance. Some days disappear without a trace. Return when they least expect. Without explanation. Create uncertainty, unpredictability. It destabilizes them and puts you back in control. Machiavelli would tell you, be feared more than loved, but most importantly, be unreadable more than feared. Because what they can't decode, they can't manipulate. And what they can't predict, they can't defend against. This isn't cruelty. This is survival. In a world engineered to infect your mind with noise, emotion, and dependency, detachment isn't a luxury. It's a requirement. Don't offer emotional access, not to everyone, not to anyone without discipline. Emotional starvation isn't a tactic. It's your new identity. You're teaching the world how to treat you. Access is earned, never assumed. Your silence isn't emptiness. It's power. Your distance isn't weakness. It's command. Let them speak. Let them shout. Let them try to confuse, seduce, manipulate. Let your answer be the one thing they fear most. Nothing. You lose power the second you react. Every time you flinch, explain, argue, you hand over another piece of dominance. An untouchable mind isn't moved by opinions, or noise, or emotional pressure. It doesn't answer to feeling. It doesn't justify. It observes. Weak men are obvious. Their emotions live on the surface, always visible, always vulnerable. That makes them easy to manipulate, easy to crush. Machiavelli knew, the man who reveals his mind reveals his weakness. The man who shows his weakness signs his own execution. If you want to be untouchable, memorize this law. Kill the reactive self. Reactivity is slavery. You're chained to every insult, every mood swing, every social expectation, living like a mirror for others, never as your own force. That's where most men die mentally, always responding, always leaking energy. That's not power. That's exposure. An untouchable mind isn't emotionless, but it's immune to emotional control. Still feels but never shows. It still notices but never obeys. It knows when to speak, and more importantly, when not to. Silence is a weapon. Most hate silence. It threatens them. When you don't react, they can't read you. When you don't explain, they fill in the blanks with their own insecurities. Use that. Your silence isn't just absence, it's calculated strategy. To build this mind, start here. Observe everything. React to nothing. When they disrespect you, watch. Learn. Strategize. When they ignore you, let them. The untouchable man knows Detachment isn't weakness. It's the highest form of control. While others swing wildly for pride, you stay still, focused, calculating. Your calm makes them nervous. Your silence forces them to unravel. And in that unraveling, they expose everything. In war, the loudest soldier dies first. Too visible, too predictable, too easy to target. The silent one, he survives. He moves unseen, strikes without warning. That's the mind you must build. A mind that never shows its cards, never bleeds in public, never plays by their rules. Don't let emotion become your leash. Your anger, your pride, your need for validation. These are all weapons that can be used against you. Machiavelli would tell you, if you want to dominate, you must disappear emotionally. Not from life, but from manipulation. No one should trigger you, not disrespect, not rejection, not even love. Until your mind is yours, you are owned. Practice internal silence. When your instinct screams to lash out, speak less. When they provoke, look through them. Let them wonder what you're thinking. That mystery is more powerful than any reaction you could give. An untouchable mind creates confusion. It forces others to play defense, to second guess, to reveal themselves first. That's control without effort, power without noise. And eventually, they'll realize they can't reach you, they can't move you. And once they realize that, they'll do what all manipulators do when faced with the unreadable: retreat. Let them. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be feared, respected, and ultimately left alone unless summoned. That starts with building a mind that's a fortress, not made of stone but of stillness, not of arrogance but of discipline. No one gets in, nothing leaks out. Burn your reactive self, and from the ashes, rise as something far more dangerous, something untouchable. You've killed reactivity, starved their emotional control, mastered detachment, become unreadable. Now comes the final transformation. You disappear in plain sight. The most powerful mind doesn't seek power, it becomes power. It doesn't shout dominance, it radiates it. It doesn't react to the noise, it watches it burn. You're no longer playing the game, you are the game, and they don't even know it. That is what terrifies them most. Not your words, not your presence, but your absence. When you stop reacting, they notice. When you go silent, they panic. When you vanish, they feel you even more, because now they're forced to confront something few people can handle. A man who no longer needs to be seen to remain in control. You become a phantom, leaving no trace, but your name echoes. No emotion, but your influence lingers. You don't lift a hand, but the entire room shifts. And here's the truth no one tells you. The less they know, the more they talk. The less you show, the more they obsess. The less you need, the more they crave to be needed by you. Invisibility is your armor, mystery, your throne, and silence, your kingdom. Understand this fully. True dominance is psychological. It's not in volume, it's in restraint. It's not in chasing, it's in choosing who's worth your gaze. You'll reach a point where you walk into a room, say nothing, and everything changes. Not because you announced yourself, but because your mind, your control, your presence recalibrates the entire space. The untouchable mind isn't loud. It isn't aggressive. It's surgical. It's cold. It's free. You don't move for emotion. You don't answer to pressure. You don't kneel to anyone's status. Because what you've built is rarer than money, stronger than muscle, and more irresistible than charm. You've built a mind that can't be owned, and that terrifies them. Because in a world of emotional slaves, your detachment is rebellion. Your silence is dominance. Your unavailability is control. They can't hurt what they can't touch. They can't manipulate what doesn't respond. They can't predict what no longer moves like prey. You move like a ghost, calm, surgical, invincible, and now you don't have to fight for respect. Your silence already won it. If you've made it this far, you're not like the others. You're not chasing shallow influence. You're building untouchable power. And power like that is rare. So stay dangerous. Stay unreadable. And if this message struck something deep inside you, you know what to do. Disappear until you're needed. And the world will feel you even in your absence.